hi. I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently. I've been feeling a little off about um, doing predictions while I'm not looking at you guys. So what I'm going to start doing from now on is to basically look at the information and make my predictions while I'm live with you guys. Because basically I've predicted and I've made my research before, just that I normally do like a refresher of the information that I already got, so that I'm able to actually give you guys a more detailed explanation as to why I picked a specific person. So right now, what I think is best, because I prefer to do predictions while looking, especially when going live, I prefer to actually look at you guys as opposed to read from something. So from now on, it's going to be different. So yeah, hopefully it works out because I enjoy looking at the camera while I go live. So let me start with Usman versus Parkin. Um, here's my thing, right? I think all round, Parkin is the better fighter. The biggest issue here is a lot of these thick, offensive, but a lot of these thick guys um, have been disappointing in the past few fights, even though technically they were the better fighters and they should have won the fight, but they ended up somehow losing. For example, Taito Ivasa, I felt like was the better fighter in that fight, but because of his horrible takedown defense, he lost. Shamil Gaziev was supposed to have been the better fighter in that fight, but because of cardio, because I feel like McParkin is the better fighter between him and Usman. But the problem is a lot of these thick fighters, haven't been doing so well lately. But nonetheless, my official pick is going to be McParkin. My subscribers are going with what do you call him, Mohammed Usman. So I'd say maybe 60-40, 60% McParkin wins this one. On to the next one. Let me go to the next one. Um, who's the next one? Yes. What's his name? Ego Severino. Okay, let me put the camera here. Ego Severino versus Andre Lima. This one is a tricky one because there's not a lot of information about both fighters. But I feel like, despite the fact that there isn't so much information, the little that we know about them, in my personal opinion, I feel like they are closely matched in a sense, because both of them are well rounded. Let me check. Let me check. Yeah, for the most part, both of them are well rounded. I just feel like Andre Lima is the better fighter of the two. But they are so closely matched that the fight could go either way. Um, Hi, my brother. I can't read Arabic, so I'll try to respond as much as I can. But nonetheless, going back to my analysis, I feel like both Andre Lima and Ego are very closely matched. So it's, in my opinion, it could go either way. Like it's a 50-50 fight. Um, but the fighter that I feel like has the slight advantage, obviously it's MMA, anything can happen. But I feel like the fighter with the slight advantage in this particular fight is Andre Lima. I think he's the better striker. He has good takedown defense. I think he has, um, like, but when it comes to like the all round package, I'm going with Andre Lima. My subscribers also went with Andre Lima. But it is important to highlight the fact that the fight will be 50-50 in my opinion. So I wouldn't say I'm 100% sure, because both fighters are so closely matched, in my opinion. Lately, the UFC has been doing an incredible job in terms of what do you call it, making matches. But on to the next one. Let's see. It's Daria. I'm going to leave it at that, and Montserrat Rendon. Okay, Montserrat Rendon is average in my opinion. She's not that great. One of the things that annoy me about her is that she doesn't have any finishes, right? All her wins, even though she's undefeated, I think she's 6-0 or something like that. Let me check. Yeah, Montserrat Rendon is 6-0. She's undefeated. She's decent on the feet. Like she's a decent fighter. Okay, below maybe decent. Let's say below decent. Like she's a decent fighter, but her lack of finishing abilities, I think, is a problem for me because it means whoever she's fighting will most likely be able to get to the final round. Whereas if she fights someone who has a high finishing ability, um, it's going to be a problem for her. So basically, what this means is that um, there's no risk of being finished when you fight Montserrat Randon. So in this particular situation, I feel like Daria has a significantly high finishing rate. So as a result, I feel like she has an edge. And if you look at, I know she's been fighting on the regional scene, but I think she's been fighting really good fighters. If you look at her pound for pound ranking on the regional scene, I think it's in Russia and France. And a couple of other countries, like her ranking is really good, which shows that she's been fighting decent fighters, you know. So because of that, I feel like I'm going to lean more towards Daria. My subscribers went with Montserrat Rendon. But in honesty, in terms of percentages, let me see. It's hard to tell, you know, because Rendon, it's like Nathaniel Wood, right? Nathaniel Wood is really good, but he doesn't finish people. And for me, that's a problem because whenever you fight someone who has finishing abilities, they can be aggressive, knowing there's no danger coming from you. You know, you're going to hit them, but like they won't get, like there's no danger of being finished, so they can be a little bit more aggressive. So because of that, it's really hard to determine. But I don't know. Let me see her reach. What's her reach? Um, okay. Okay. I'd say 60%. 60% Daria wins this one. 40% for Montserrat. 60% for Daria. So yeah, because obviously Montserrat has had her opportunity to actually perform in the UFC. So I think she has a slight advantage in terms of what do you call it, experience. I'd say that because I think, yeah, that's basically it. On to the next one. My subscribers went with Montserrat Rendon. If I didn't say that, I went with Daria. On to the next one. Jano Aarons versus Stephen Guyen. Whew, yeah, these fights, my subscribers and I hardly ever, you know, choose like too many different fighters, opposite picks. But on this card, I'm interested to see what's going to happen because our picks are so significantly different, you know. But a disclaimer: my subscribers normally are more accurate than me, so it's safer to follow what they say, you know, as opposed to me. But normally my predictions actually tell you. Normally the fights I get wrong. How to get the veins? Okay, I don't know. I don't know what that means. Can you please say that again in a different way? So normally predictions. What's great about my predictions before I move forward with my predictions is that the fights that I get wrong are normally the ones that I say are 60-40 or 70-30. Those are the fights that I normally, because I'm not necessarily 100% sure, and I tell you on my streams. So, but normally my subscribers are a little bit more accurate, so you can follow what they say. I'll go through it all throughout this stream. But let's move on to The next prediction, or rather the next fight, Jarno Aarons versus Stephen Guyen. Uh, I don't know, man. I think Stephen Guyen is the better fighter, in every sense of the word. Um, yeah, he has higher takedown defense. I haven't seen him offensively attack for on the ground and all those type of things. So, like I said, I don't know a lot. There's not information about these particular fighters, but from what I've seen, I would feel like Stephen Guyen is the better fighter. In terms of, for example, stand-up striking, he's good. He has a higher knockdown average. Oh, okay, okay, okay. So I'll say maybe it's 50 in my opinion. This particular fight, I just think Jano or Stephen Guyen is the better fighter. So my subscribers and I picked Stephen Guyen. On to the next one. This one was cancelled. Stephanie Bruna was cancelled. Cody Gibson. Cody Gibson versus Miles Johns. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting fight. Miles Johns has been improving significantly lately, so it's kind of hard to actually determine how good he is in comparison to Cody Gibson, because even though Cody Gibson did not win his fight, his previous fight, I think he looked pretty good in that particular fight. To some extent, I think they actually even got the performance or fight of the night, something like that. So that should tell you how good Cody Gibson is. Just that I feel like physical strength plays a role in a fight, right? And even cutting down too much can actually impact how you perform in a fight. And I feel like Miles Johns doesn't cut as much as Cody Gibson. So when you look at fighters like Aljamain Sterling, right? I think he's going to perform a little bit better at featherweight because he's not going to have to be cutting so much more weight, which is something that also Rose Namajunas said throughout this camp, um, the media run throughout this whole week leading up to their fight with Amanda Ribas. So, because even on this particular fight, I feel like both fighters are. Let me see. Let me see. 22.85. Yeah, I think still, nonetheless, I think Miles Jones is the better fighter in this particular situation. But nonetheless, still, I think it's going to be 60-40, 60 for Miles Jones and then 40 for Cody Gibson. I hope my internet is working properly. It likes to sabotage me, but if it's not working properly, I'll do like a recap again tomorrow. But yeah, 60% Miles Jones takes this one, and 40% to Cody Gibson. My subscribers also picked the Miles Jones. On to the next one. What's the next fight? Julian Erosa versus Ricardo Ramos. Yeah, like I said at the beginning of this prediction, or rather this stream, I did say this is going to be a really complicated card to predict, largely because a lot of the fights on this particular card are extremely closely matched. So it's really difficult to actually have a solid 100% winner. But my subscribers and I went with Ricardo Ramos, purely because I think he has more ways of winning. But in terms of who has the advantage, I don't know if anyone has an advantage in this fight. Um, but I think I'm leaning more towards Ricardo Ramos. But that does not mean, what do you call him, Julian Erosa does not have a shot, because, like I said, it's 50-50 in my opinion. I just feel like Ricardo Ramos has a higher probability of winning this particular fight. My subscribers also went with Ricardo Ramos. On to the next one, Trey Ogden versus Kurt Hurlebach. I was impressed with how Kurt Hurlebach performed in his previous fight. He looked sensational. Obviously, there's an issue of him getting older and all those type of things. And I know to some people that doesn't really matter, but it influences certain things like the ability to take a punch and the speed, among other things, especially in lower weight classes. Um, so, but despite that fact, I still feel like Kurt Hurlebach is the better fighter, even though yeah, basically, let me see on the feet who's probably going to win. Let me see. Okay. My subscribers went with Trey Ogden. Let me see. Yeah, my subscribers went with Trey Ogden. I went with Kurt Hollebag. Um, another one where I feel like the fight is going to be 50-50. So, yeah, on to the next one. Luis Pagelo. Who's Luis Pagelo versus Fernando Padilla. Padilla versus Luis Pagelo. Um, yeah, maybe I should go back to actually doing research privately and just, or maybe prepare a little bit more. But let me proceed. Fernando Padilla versus Luis Pagelo. Is it Pajuelo? Yes. Um, I think Luis Pagelo is the better fighter between the both of them, especially when it comes to striking. Um, and he has a little bit more power. I didn't like how, what do you call him, Padilla looked in his previous fight against Carl Nelson. He was making a lot of dumb mistakes. He didn't look fast. He didn't look strong. Um, but nonetheless, it could go either way. But I think 60% Luis Pajuelo and 40% maybe Fernando Padilla. So my subscribers went with Fernando Padilla. I went with Luis Pajuelo. Yes. On to the next one. Billy Quarantillo versus Youssef Zalal. Oh, these fights. This is going to be a really good card, man. Yusuf Zalal is, I think Yusuf Zalal is good. In his last fight, like in his last 5 wins, right? He competed in kickboxing, he competed in boxing, and he competed in MMA, and he won all those fights. 3 of them happened the last year, right? So on the other hand, when you look at Billy Quarantillo, the guy, I don't think the guy is really that good. I used to think he had potential, but I don't know if he's really that good. Um, but he has a lot more experience than Zalal, so that might play a huge role in who wins this particular fight. But my official pick is going to be Yusuf Zalal. My subscribers went with what do you call him? Yusuf Zalal and let me check. Yeah, my subscribers went with Billy Quarantillo. So I'd say 60, let me say 50-50. Yeah, I'll say 50-50. Let's go 50-50. Okay, so Cameron Simon versus Peyton Talbot. This should have probably been the main event because this is probably the most exciting fight on the card, in my opinion. My thing is, I think Peyton looked like a future champion in his previous fight. Despite the fact that people felt like he was losing that fight, I think he was performing exceptionally well. Um, and I feel like, I don't know, I feel like something is missing from Cameron Simon. So I'm honestly not sure what it is that's actually missing, but I feel like something is missing in Cameron Simon. I think maybe it's his strength, right? He's a good fighter, but I don't know if he's physically strong at bantamweight. I could be wrong, but I didn't see that, especially when he was fighting against, what do you call him? Probably my network is bad, eh? Oh, anyway, when he was fighting against Christian Rodriguez. So I think Peyton Talbot is extremely strong for the division. I think he's extremely good in terms of striking. I think he has good takedown. Okay, he doesn't have good takedown defense. But it's. Oh, this is Cameron Simon. Okay, yeah. Peyton Talbot has really good takedown defense, and then Cameron Simon is the one who doesn't have that like the create of the takedown defense. So my issue in this particular fight is that I think it will take place on the feet, and on the feet I'm leaning more towards Peyton Talbot, also because he has a high finishing rate. Yeah, he has a significantly high finishing rate. How many finishes? Yeah, he has a higher finishing rate than what do you call him, Cameron Simon. So yeah, I'd say maybe 70. Let me say 60% Peyton Talbot take this one. My subscribers went with Cameron Simon. My official pick is Peyton Talbot. So on to the next one. AJ Dobson versus Edmund Shabazian. Whew. Um, I think between the both of them, Edmund Shabazian is the better fighter. AJ Dobson, I think he's good with between. Let me just say that between the both of them, I think Edmund Shabazian is the better fighter. So I think my subscribers and I went with Edmund Shabazian. Uh, Justin Tafa versus Carl Williams, heavyweights. You know, my official pick and my subscribers' official pick is Justin Tafa. But the problem, I actually said this at the beginning of the stream. The issue I have with Justin Tafa is the same issue I have with Mick Parkin. Um, a lot of these big guys do not do so well when they get higher or when they fight someone with a little bit of skill and who's a little bit more in shape, which is what Williams is. Um, my official pick because Tafa has the finishing ability and I think he's better on the feet. Yeah, I mean, Tafa sucks, I get that. But he has a higher finishing ability, and I feel like he has good takedown defense. Maybe it's because he hasn't been fighting people who can actually take him down. But so far, his takedown defense has been good. So because of that, I feel like he might land a big shot. So my official pick and my subscribers' official pick is tougher, but it could go either way. I think given Carl Williams can win this fight, so I'd say it's 50-50. On to the next one, the main event of the evening. Normally, my subscribers went with Rose Namajunas, right? That's their pick. I struggled with actually deciding this, but I eventually decided on going with Amanda Ribas, and let me explain why. I think Rose Namajunas has not looked the same since she fought Carla Esparza, right? and I don't know. I just feel like she has lost her fire or her desire to become the best because obviously she's been at the top, and I haven't seen that fire ever since, right? And this obviously is a new, it's a new weight class, and maybe that could be a difference because I heard her speaking about the fact that it's a little bit easier to fight at flyweight because she doesn't have to cut so much weight and it affected her health and all those type of things. So thank you, man. Thank you. So she said it affected her health and all those type of things, right? So okay. I have a client. I'll continue and finish this tomorrow. Sharp.